people have been angry about the Ramayan trailer. So let's see.
Have a look.
I guess it's an unpopular opinion, but Ranbir Kapoor is too old to play Ram. Sanjay Leela Bhansali could have done this with a 500 crore car budget.
Oh, well, to be honest, that is an interesting topic of conversation.
I still don't feel Ranbir as...
Shri Ram.
What?
Yes.
But you can't do this
I
to
mean-
me. You know how much I sacrificed?
$500 million, whatever the fuck it was.
Yes, it makes sense.
People got confused when I posted like, oh, who's gonna play Lakshman? I knew that's why I said it, because Lakshman was on the screen at that time. Not because I don't know who Lakshman is. We watch Ramayan, the series, every fucking week, mate. And he's my favorite character of the Ramayan story.
Except for King of Ayodhya. I really love the King of Ayodhya.
It's my favorite father in any story.
There has been a lot that has been said on the much awaited trailer of Ramayan. After reading a lot of opinions and thoughts across social media platforms, I realized that this movie is falling in the category of audiences marginally being excited, not being elated, not being absolutely blown
really
away by
excited.
it, but marginally ecstatic. Is that an oxymoron? I think it may be. Even though I know with absolute conviction that this movie is going to open to extremely huge numbers, its biggest haters and naysayers will tune in for this on the opening weekend because there is intrigue of how possibly this may turn out to be from a quality perspective. And no one wants FOMO. I believe, however, that there are 5 major problems that need to be addressed and discussed
let's hear
as the
them.
movie is scheduled to release this Diwali. There is often a tendency for the biggest fans of Ramayan to label all the criticism leveled at the movie to be hate, but I think a lot of what I am seeing online is not misdirected or vindictive venom only, but genuine feelings of what they organically felt after watching a trailer. This is not to double down on a project that is already
This scene?
of what they organically felt after watching a trailer. This is
This scene? Yeah, if
It lacks shabang.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
lacks. I said it when I saw the trailer. It lacks color. It lacks luxury.
looks a bit flat.
It's just a bit like this could have been filmed in any world, in any realm.
It just needs...
This looks generic.
However, though, can that be fixed? I don't know.
not to double down on a project that is already down and out in a boxing
I like him as Ram. I like
think-
Ranbir
I
as
like
Ram.
him too.
Yeah,
As Ram.
Ranbir, you got it.
bout, but to possibly hope that the makers are also mindful that the chatter is not completely unwarranted. So let's discuss 5 major points that I believe are going wrong for this project, according to me. Namit Malhotra's claims, approach and vision. Hear me out on this, and this may be a stretch, but
This
I
is good to know because we don't know how much the insights of how he likes to work.
want you to be on this ride with me when I try to explain it. The entire approach of Namit Malhotra for this project in the several interviews that he has been a part of is to present this epic on the global stage. This is an approach that stems from the fact that the portrayal of Indians and Indian stories in the West have often been about how India is a third world country, and a lot of the tales were about brown men being, well, of an oppressed class, and the visuals of those stories highlighting the abject poverty in which a large section of the Indian population live.
I guess that is true because of the movies that did really well in the West. And there's not that many that are like Indian that did well in the West.
There are Indian stories.
But honestly, because we come from South America, I find this really hard to believe. Because that was never the fucking perception on India. Like from Venezuela.
Absolutely.
From South America. Like
Yeah, I don't know if it's the rest of South America, but in Venezuela,
that
India
wasn't the
was-
perception. That wasn't that India is a third world country.
India was a luxurious,
Yeah, it was like the complete opposite.
exotic.
Like the Beatles went there
way,
to
like,
learn music.
Yeah, like it was always like we never got the.
It's poor as fuck and
generalized
it's the
third-
slums.
We never got that.
That's
and
so
I
weird.
actually, the first time that I encountered that perception of
Was
India
here.
was in England for
And
the first time.
actually, it came from motherfucking Indians.
Correct.
I'll say what no one's saying.
Yeah, it's true. It came from other fellow countrymen.
Desi
And-
fuckers.
Yeah, it never came. Like I never, because even the white British people love the
Well, they
idea
live
of
fu-
going to India and like exploring India.
Yeah, it's
as,
like exotic.
It's like a touristic sort of thing.
I mean, I guess also we were quite young, so I didn't really fucking pay attention to like politics or anything like that.
Me neither.
But like most of the memes and stuff like that, like that, I think that really got bad and exacerbated later. Honestly,
I agree. I agree.
it got really bad later.
But we never grew up with the idea that India was like this third world country.
Yeah, that's so weird, isn't it? I guess Venezuela is a third world country.
Actually, poverty.
So maybe it's like a blind man not seeing
Yeah.
another blind man.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know,
really true,
but that's really fucking funny.
But that's
because
not the perception we had.
we had no.
Yeah.
It wasn't this, bro.
No.
Hell no. That's just down the corner in Caracas.
For real.
You know.
Namit, rightly so, feels that the stories of India that celebrate our heroes should be conveyed to the West versus tales in which the Indians are morose and often on the opposite end of torment, violence, or abuse. While I get this motivation to tell the world that
He
Indians
did
are
win an Oscar about that movie or something.
So many of this like
What is it called?
narrative of
Fucking Mumbai Millionaire.
Slumdog
Slumdog
Millionaire,
Millionaire.
and so was Leon and
Leon's about this lost kid, isn't it?
yeah, and what was the other one? Life of Pi. That was also an Indian story.
Life of Pi. That's a good story, isn't it?
It is. It's a great
What
story.
the fuck?
It's a great book.
It's a good movie. It's a good
It's
book.
a great book.
And it's a great adaptation. Like I didn't even know that was an Indian story.
I actually think the book and the film are really closely adapted. Like
That's good.
they do a really good job.
I actually found it so awesome when I found out that it
Yeah.
was like, it's an Indian story. Fucking hell, I didn't know.
Yeah, I know.
powerful, majestic, and grand in so many ways, even though all kinds of stories should exist, this need to pander to the North American market, I believe, is slightly desperate.
It's a problem.
Yeah,
it's a big
little-
problem.
Yeah, why are we looking for acceptance
Stop
from anywhere
looking,
else?
Stop looking for the fucking, I don't know, sympathy or whatever the fuck, or approval.
I don't know. I don't agree with
It's
that
a big
perception
mistake
either.
because you're gonna lose your own fan base.
Correct.
It's always the biggest concern. Actually,
agree with
it's the
that.
big problem with Hollywood.
Actually, is the big problem with international films
Correct.
that want to be welcomed into the Hollywood umbrella.
Don't
fall into
sacrifice your own people for
Your
the
own
sake
art.
of foreign acceptance. It's
Absolutely
a mistake.
Not. Nobody's gonna.
The reason why
understand.
It's a big mistake.
South Korean cinema and
K-pop is a big example of this. Actually,
It loses identity.
it does lose
It
identity.
loses identity.
You know who hasn't made that mistake? Japanese pop. They haven't made that mistake too much.
music have become a global phenomena is because the stories that they invested money on were done with conviction for their people. It
Yes, man. Correcto.
Javi,
K-dramas became popular because they were popular in South Korea and the quality was a lot higher than shit series in the West. People ended up finding a gap in the market, lazy fucking series. Then they found out, hold on a second, the world is really big, the qualities are really high, the stories are really unique, the music is really good, the cinematography is very different.
The acting is outstanding.
It's actually more affordable than me fucking having 17,000 subscriptions out here. It's good. The pandemic hit. All of this other shit. Blah, 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 blah. K-dramas became a fucking hit. And then you also had them K-pop demon hunters who are basically the epitome
Of losing identity.
not losing identity. I think K-pop demon hunters is the epitome of the commercialization
Yes, it is.
of everything.
Of course, I was being
Korea,
sarcastic.
yeah.
I said.
organically developed a huge following globally, whether it be dark thrillers, passionate Wattpad like aspirational romance, or even
Crazy that he says Wattpad with a serious face.
creative music and choreography.
It's a
Everything
category.
first became a rage for its own people because it was created for them. A
Yeah.
downfall in quality is being noticed by a lot of the content that is being produced from that country in the
There you go. Come on, mate.
Jamie, my boy.
Come on, son.
last few years, as after its global phenomena and it being embraced by the West, the creativity has transitioned to pander to the West and its sensibilities, removing the K from K-pop according to many.
Well, also, just to put into perspective what happened in Korean pop, obviously, who better to fucking have this, sort of share this. Something that also happened in Korean pop is, to a certain extent, some fans are better than others. And the groups won't say this and the labels won't say this, but in financial meetings and when it comes to investors, shareholders, and board of directors, they all know the best fans to have in the world are the US fan base and the UK fan base and the European fan base because they have more disposable income.
Because of consumerism.
They have different standards when it comes to pricing. For example, you can't charge the same price for a BTS ticket in Los Angeles. No one would pay the same prices in Korea. No one in their fucking right mind would pay for that, even though they are the biggest K-pop fans. So there are some fans that are better than others, financially speaking. And at the end of the day, this is a business. So part of the reason why Hype expanded from Big Hit Entertainment and then became the big ginormous tycoon that it is right now, it's because it follows the money. And the money follows the West. Because the US is the market leader and will probably be for a very long time, probably throughout our whole lifetime. It's been my father's lifetime, mother's, grandfather, really, and our lifetime. It will continue to be the leader. And then the
It's
UK.
actually really funny because I remember when reggaeton started to push to the US
We saw this
market.
with Latin music.
We saw this with Latin music, actually, because it had always had a very specific demographics and specific regions in the US where it sort of resonated, but then
It was more because of migration.
correct. It's sort of because of like where the people was, but
Were.
it was really interesting to see how they
push.
shifted a lot of like their own creativity. They shifted a lot of like their own language and like the way they spoke and like the way that they started writing music because they wanted to appeal to the US.
The interesting part, though, I think India's sort of similar in some ways to South America, like Latin music, because the only thing that saved Latin music, like reggaeton, Latin pop, merengue, salsa, from never losing its identity, is that Latinos, most specifically Dominican Republic and Puerto Ricans and Mexico and Colombians, are very proud people. So because they're really proud, they don't learn English.
It's true.
It's really fucking funny, actually.
Yeah. I know, and sometimes they'll be fluent in English, but they will not speak
Yeah,
it.
they won't fucking, they don't give a fuck, and they're like,
Not
make a
speak.
salsa song in English. That's fucking disrespectful as fuck. My grandma would hit me. So it's also culture, right, mommy? Yeah, look at my mom. Yeah.
I was like that.
So-
Bible.
Yeah, diabolical. So that's part of the reason why Latin music has sort of being able to dominate in the West and not lose its identity.
Yeah, preserve its
Hence why
identity also.
Bad Bunny, actually, to a certain extent, even though he's a very mediocre artist, he's never made the best art he's ever made is now because he's the closest he is to his own culture, to his own roots, to his own sound, to his own music. So it's ironic in that way, but
It's a really big oxymoron, but I believe that if the quality of the product is absolutely outstanding,
It'll find the
there
market.
will not be a single criticism about what language is in, about what story is trying to tell. It's
look at
gonna
anime.
resonate.
Look at anime. It's the biggest example of that. Anime has never changed its ways to pander to any fucking audience. They pander to the Japanese audience, and that's it. And they tell Japanese stories. And then they have movie releases, which are new now, and they bring to Western cinema because obviously we work in that part of the industry as well. So it's very obvious what's happening. They're obviously marketing now to the Indonesia and fucking the UK, big fan base, the US and fucking South America, huge anime fan base in the whole of the continent. So, but that doesn't mean that they're now telling stories about fucking, I don't know, things that or doing it in English now, or for example trying to pander specifically to the UK audience, when in reality they know if this is not popular in Japan, it won't be popular fucking anywhere. So make
Yeah.
sure this is popular here.
Yeah.
You know, make sure you do the justice to the manga, because if not, no one will fucking love this shit, and we're gonna lose a bunch of money.
I
The
think
mistake India mustn't make. Sorry.
Yes.
Indians, not India's just a whole, because there's so many directors there, but some directors shan't make is the mistake of thinking that if you try to do the things that you think make the US and the UK and the Western audiences happy, they will reward it with money. Don't make that mistake, because it doesn't pay off.
They won't.
And you'd lose your Indian audience, and you will have a bigger flop.
It'll be such a mediocre experience for everybody.
Don't do that. So that's it's a valid criticism.
Similarly, in this quest to really be in the leagues of popular IPs like Dune and Avatar, these interviews with foreign media where everyone has to be spoon-fed the story and the characters of this epic, I believe Namit is trying to reverse to be spoon.
Fuck off, they made him do drawing.
In Comic-Con.
That has to be some sort of humiliation ritual for Ranbir Kapoor. That's insane. Look, and he's actually trying.
There's a reason he has glasses.
Spoon-fed the story
I
and the
think the lights bother the fuck out of him.
characters of this epic, I believe Namit is trying to reverse engineer and manufacture the success of this movie, not realizing that he is talking to a demographic that is not even marginally as passionate or invested like the Indian population is with this epic. I really empathize and back Namit's want to project India as a global giant when it comes to movies, for people to take notice, for them to be educated that our storytelling is beyond us being victims.
It's fine.
But that is marketing spiel versus why such a tale should be told in the first place.
Well, also, our success proves otherwise.
Exactly.
I mean, in here, I guess it's also like another example of like, if you want to really simplify the story, which is sort of like an oversimplification and super reduction, is like brown people being oppressed and this other shit. But it was like, that movie was never marketed to the West.
No,
It's a
it
fucking
resonated because of the quality of its
it was
product.
it was a Telugu film originally, right? So it's like, who the fuck is gonna market that to the West? It's just they're fucking. It ended up going to Netflix. It ended up becoming really popular and very memeable and very like.
No, but I remember
broke through.
I remember the reason why it broke through is because it was brought to film festivals. Something that it's a very level playing field in terms of like quality. It will not this category will not this criteria does not scatimate on whether it is an international film, whether it's an in-house film, whether
Yeah, for the most part,
the
right?
budget is too high or the budget is too low. It's a very level playing field when it comes to, is it a good story?
It's the same as
Did you tell a good story?
It's the same as like the Japanese Godzilla, right? That basically
Correct.
they did it like on 12 billion pounds. It was just like $50 million, and then it ended up fucking doing like 100 million. The reviewers picked it up. It ended up doing well here.
So it was similar. I think the bandwagon was similar to
So,
in that aspect.
it's a big mistake. I get what he's trying to do, and God bless him, but it's a big mistake.
The biggest issue that I feel will always remain a burden for this project all the way until its ultimate release in theaters is the budget and the CV of DNEG that constantly gets announced in interviews. The number of 4,000 crores being invested in this project will remain a nightmare for this project throughout its
Damn.
of 4,000 crores being invested in this project.
Producer of compares Ramayan's co-vision to Avatar and the Gladiator. Holy fuck, dude. Who the fuck?
That's a crazy budget.
And Antambani be like, chump change.
Will remain a nightmare for this project throughout its run. This number is like the boogeyman. It's like Betal that will never get off their back. For it generates an expectation from the audience, and when there are flaws, even minute details that stick out like a sore thumb, it will be called out. For you set it up as the gold standard to come out of this country. This, followed by the consistent mention of the number of Oscars that DNEG has won, further increases expectations. If you boast about a filmography that includes Interstellar, Inception, Dune and The Dark Knight, an assumption that the Indian audience is way too harsh on its own stories is simply being naive and a cop-out. You know what would have been actually impactful for the West? If an epic like the Ramayan was actually soft-launched in Broadway. For it to become a sensation like...
My, this
my
guy's...
God!
He is him!
He's literally like Javis in my brain. I've been saying that.
To be fair, we did discuss. I did talk about that with him. I told him how come there aren't enough theatrical productions in India, and he says
It's such a dying breed in India.
he says, well, first is the money, and
There's
second,
no money in it.
second there are some, but it doesn't seem to pick up traction because they never seem to have the budget to be able to then take it abroad.
Correct.
So, but
It's
however,
really it's really expensive to take
no,
a
it
production
isn't.
abroad.
If you have fucking $500 million,
I totally agree.
allocate 10.
My God, my
allocate
God.
10 to this.
And you know who would have written an amazing musical? A.R. Rahman. He would
Yeah,
have written an
fuck him.
amazing
Do it.
musical.
like Hamilton, for the tale to ruminate among
Yes,
a population
yes, I
versus
agree
just
with
release
that.
cold turkey through random interviews.
And also, you
Yes!
you have a huge ability at the moment
yes,
because
yes.
of migration. Oh, they have Shankar Mahadev, Sonu Nigam, Kailash Kher. That's brilliant. And you have a big Indian population everywhere. So you have like Canada, UK, US. You have a big chance of
Yep.
bringing these out,
Touring this musical would no,
and then
it
you
would
start
make-
grabbing the hardcore Broadways and West End
and
fans,
then you turn that into a film after it already has like a cult like following, because this is the thing about
story's
theater
good also.
fans. They form a cult
Yeah.
around this musical. So when they drop the films, they do incredible numbers. So yeah, I agree with this.
Imagine if the makers collaborated with Ashutosh Rana's Hamare Ram and invested in its run in North America for people to be aware of the material through live theatre.
Yes.
What I think is essential for the marketing run ahead for this
and
movie
then you do the film fests, and then you do it.
Yes.
is for this project to be presented to the people it is meant for.
Organically.
All the junket systems 3 months in advance of the global release, I believe, is making a quarter of an impact that the same promotions and events would do in India. Can you imagine a live event in Bangalore where Yash is revealed as Ravan? A concert with Hans Zimmer and A.R. Rahman being ticketed prior to the
I
movie
don't
release?
understand.
Hell fucking yes.
I also feel like, because Diwali is only around the corner, I also feel like the promotions for Ramayan have
kind
been
of like
weird.
lukewarm.
Have
Yeah.
been really weird.
Really lukewarm.
Why isn't there an open air free concert of, because you have half a million, bro, of Hans Zimmer and A.R. Rahman. You bring out Arijit. He did a special song for this. He come back from retirement. You have storylines. I'm sure they tried with Arijit, to be fair. You bring out Shreya, it doesn't matter. You fucking, and then you bring the original cast of Ramayan, and you bring the new cast, and you reveal that some of the cast is now, I don't know.
I agree. It lacks a little whimsy.
Release where the entire album is released with a live orchestra. There is so much that can be done in Asia when it comes to selling this movie.
forget
So many
the
countries
West.
in Southeast Asia celebrate this tale as their own.
Indonesia fucking loves this.
Well versed with it. And here we are, where the vision just seems generic and predictable. CGI masterclass in the times of gold standard examples. One has to realize that movies are not assessed in a vacuum. We are dealing with a time where so much content is getting consumed that there is bound to be a comparative analysis, especially when the makers of a movie proudly and consistently mention the amount of money that is being invested in the project. An investment that is more than some of the biggest commercial projects in Hollywood. In the month of July, we saw Christopher Nolan travel across the world promoting the Odyssey, the lengths that he went to shoot this film in as many practical locations as possible, the complicated manner in which he
Oh no.
shot the film on IMAX cameras, and how efficient he was in finishing the shoot despite uphill battles ahead of schedule. When you see that work ethic, something that you can see in a documentary that is available on Geo Hotstar, when you see the lengths Rishabh Shetty went to in order to authentically tell the story of Kantara Chapter 1, where the hundreds of cast and crew invested their blood, sweat and tears to make the grand vision possible, it is assumed that the audience will expect the same and more from another project.
The company that I own, DNEG, that's got all these Oscars. Ramayan is the hardest project, visual effects wise, we're doing in the world. We've ever done.
There is a whataboutery defense when the CGI of Ramayan gets called out. The whataboutery involves the fact that Indians do not call out terrible CGI in big scale Marvel movies, and I am here to tell you that projects like Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, Thor Love and Thunder, and even certain frames of the Doomsday trailers are consistently being called.
God, the current era of Marvel is
Marvel
terrible.
is just
To be fair,
so
Iron Man 1
atrocious.
still has some of the best looking Iron Man outfits, like suits.
Yeah.
Fucking.
I think-
it got worse as time went on.
I think we are yet to find the right balance in the new generation between visual effects and green screens
Harry-
and blue screens with organic effects. Like we film.
Well, also
we
they
film
have all the
whole-
dots and all this weird
We
shit now.
film whole sequences, and we film a 2-hour film
Green
in
screens,
a
yeah.
on a blue screen.
I have to say,
And I'm like, what happened to actually going outside?
yeah, I mean that's why it's concerning, the whole Christopher Nolan thing, because everyone blows smoke up his ass because, oh my god, you went to the physical location, you did also all this effort and stuff like that, but the movie was shit anyway, so it was very mid. So what's the point? So why are we blowing smoke up his ass?
Because-
the Kantara director, though, different, because that movie, from every reviewer that I've ever heard, we haven't seen it ourselves, but it's received very, very well. We just haven't had a chance, and that type of effort is palpable.
Yes.
And with the Christopher Nolan stuff, it was palpable. It's just,
It had really great moments.
no, it didn't.
It had great
what a
moments.
dull, disgustingly fucking lame, and
The story was such a problem.
what a
The
lame.
story was such a problem.
He
and
turned
it's-
out one of the most epic stories into a lame movie.
It really
Yeah,
did.
anyways.
And it was too straight. Where was the gay? Not gay enough. You know, because the Odyssey.
Yeah.
Have you ever read the
I
Odyssey?
have read the Odyssey.
Well,
yeah.
it's very gay.
Yeah, but it's not because he's gay.
No, but it's just it lost.
It's because he's hedonistic and
Exactly,
it's
it's like it
deprived of everything, and
They-
there's no moral fucking compass.
Christopher Nolan
Not
took
because he's gay.
I'm being facetious, but the Christopher Nolan took all the great things that make the story, the journey, important.
And why did he do that?
palpable.
And why did he do that?
Because he's boring.
No,
He's a boring man.
he's not. No, he really isn't.
A boring old man.
No, he really isn't. He's made great movies. You
That
know
was
why he did
boring.
that? He's been captured, unfortunately. He wants to appeal to the modern audiences, and he thinks those people pay the bills. They
Boring.
don't. They campaign on the internet, but they don't go watch the fucking film.
I hated it.
Yeah, so
I
it's
hated it. It was such a problematic storyline.
also CGI is fucking overrated.
It really is.
Get
But
off
for
his
that
nuts.
reason, I really like what Christopher Nolan did physically.
That's
and
good, yeah.
I just don't agree with this.
Yeah, whatever.
Out for their poor CGI and artificial backgrounds. A sore to the eye that has become normalized in modern filmmaking consistently gets called out online. And I think it is a very poor defense to reference that it is our inferiority complex that we call out our own movies, but are scared to call out movies from the West because we pander to the white gaze. What's mediocre gets called out and should, irrespective of where it comes from.
I think also that, mate. Don't worry about that shit. The West caused this shit out. Don't worry, mate. She-Hulk was shit. Ain't nothing to do with your inferiority bollocks, mate. It's ass is ass.
It was trash.
It
It was
just
trash.
garbage. Disney's garbage. Animated movies blow ass lately. If you want to watch anything animated, watch it from Japan and India. Hopefully with Bahubali, that looks very promising.
Well, and I have to say, I wouldn't agree with like Indians calling out bad
Not calling
visual
out.
effects, not calling them out because, well, like the Bulbulaya sort of like remakes, everybody called out the terrible CGI for a lot of the moments. Like I remember
People in our comments were like, guys, fucking excuse that shit.
and like some of the War 2 sequences that were like completely fabricated in this awful looking
Yeah.
CGI background.
I just think what he's saying is they don't call out the Western ones.
Fair
Like the
enough.
fucking, I don't know, Tom Cruise and fucking.
Yeah, no, but
that shit, yeah.
they
To be
should.
fair, the standard is a bit higher in the West just because there's, I guess, more money to waste, but because it's not being used correctly. But even then, Disney's dropped the ball, especially with just bringing up the Avengers,
Marvel, yeah.
The biggest issue that people feel about the Ramayan trailer across the board is that it is devoid of any natural setting. If you would notice some of the frames of the film that have been altered from the teaser to the trailer, they are capable of doing so because they have all been shot in curated studios with artificial lighting,
That's brutal.
which can be
That's
altered.
brutal and looks cheap, honestly. And that's a cheap trick. That's so cheap.
Draft 1 rendered.
All been shot in curated studios with artificial lighting, which can be altered or enhanced dependent on what the makers deem fit. When nature can be manipulated to come across as night or day as you please, it often lends a flat tonality visually to the film. A
does.
polished aesthetic that is devoid of
that.
realism, of human imperfections, of texture that should exist in this world.
agree.
The expectation of the movie is not to be better than the worst examples of the state of movies that have come out from Marvel. It is to be the best globally compared to everything. Assumed excellence versus proof. The biggest trump card
That's
that
also
the make
true. I think that's a big issue in India sometimes. I think the directors speak such a big game and everyone speaks such a big game. Part of the reason is because I think the investors and everyone, but I think like Andy Purush was one of those movies, right? Where it's like, where the fuck did all that money go, bro? Because it
Yeah.
certainly fucking didn't go to the CGI.
Yeah.
makers of this project keep on marketing is the duo of A.R. Rahman and Hans Zimmer collaborating together. These are legends in the industry, maestros who have invested years to their craft, providing exceptional scores and music to absolute spectacles. The assumption is that this is Rafa and Roger together, getting Messi and Ronaldo together on the same team. So when the first announcement dropped, you felt the epicness of the collaboration,
really
you
did.
felt
I
the
was
scale
looking
of the
forward to that.
orchestra. You felt like all the Infinity Stones were in Namit Malhotra's hand, and with every glimpse, we expected to get more musical gems of what they may have cooked. With the odd editing pattern of the trailer that spoon feeds us the story that we already know, the same song from the first announcement is utilized to provide us a glimpse of how memorable this duo is going to be. I expect some great numbers ahead. There is no doubt about it. I'm not jumping the gun on this, but your trailer is like your clincher, something that becomes your resume as you go from door to door to sell your movie. And I felt like the stamp of their personalities was missing from the trailer. We assumed that this combination of artists will be exceptional, but we need more proof of it. I say this also because I would urge you to watch the Dune 3 teaser trailer. The stamp that Hans Zimmer has on the marketing material is undeniable. The manner in which the epic war chant of Paul plays in the background, the way it
It's still his
actually-
best music score, in my opinion. Dune 1, Dune 2, and Dune 3. Dune series music score. and the lengths he went to really
I
fucking
actually
iron that
have
out.
to say with Ramayan, in both the teaser and the trailer, I felt like we didn't get a signature sound from either of the composers.
It felt more like a collaborative sound.
And for that reason, some of the greatest highlights of their stylistic compositions were completely numb. They were dulled out.
I guess that is fair. It did feel epic.
It did feel epic.
I just feel like it's not the best trailer we've ever seen, and I think
Yeah.
the way they were selling it is the best trailer, the best sounding trailer,
Well,
and it really isn't.
I also felt like I was really looking forward to more of that epic, regal, royal environment. Sort of like, I don't know how to explain it. Like the low budget version of Ramayan had that three-dimensional, palpable wealth.
Yeah, much lower budget. That fucking series had nothing.
And they had to work with like literally how the weather was rolling that day. But
It's like they're fucking they were doing things manually, bro. Everything was manual.
sure, obviously some things could have been improved upon if they had the money. But what I'm trying to say, the palpable essence of the wealth, the abundance, it's really lacking in this version.
And audio-wise, you could also argue that, yeah.
Yes.
Increases in tempo, the way it echoes and goes out of control, it prepares you for an ultimate showdown, for a final chapter that will make everyone's jaw drop. You don't need heavy dialogues of characters, you don't need relationships and motives to be set. We know this about the epic already. The scale and expanse of the story should be implied, but this further makes me assume that the trailer cut has been specially made for the West so that they, Rohit Shetty trailer cut style, get every single detail spilled out to them. We want more of the personalities of Zimmer and ARR to be present in everything that drops versus being left somewhat in the dark of their excellence. Nitesh Tiwari has never done something of this scale. I think in a lot of the discourse of so many people getting called out after the trailer dropped, somehow no one is speaking about Nitesh Tiwari, the director who is at the helm of affairs. You know, we keep on talking about Namit Malhotra because he is the face of this project. We keep on analyzing the suitability of actors in their roles, the costumes and the lack of detail that may exist of what people were wearing during that era. But we must also remember that Nitesh Tiwari has not done anything of this scale or even genre. Nitesh Tiwari is an extremely capable director who has, in my personal opinion, delivered exceptional tales in the form of a sweet film like Chillad Party, an extremely inspiring biopic like Dangal, and a relevant and heart-wrenching tale like Chichore.
really
We
like
assume
the
that
style.
Bawal
He's a
doesn't
weird director
You
to
know,
have, though.
I
weird-
actually forgot about that.
Yeah,
I
Nitesh
actually didn't-
makes very different movies. He doesn't fucking make movies
and
like this.
they're really not historical.
exist. The man in all of these tales has provided emotionally
should have
effective
been
stories
Sanjay.
irrespective of the scale and the talent involved. But when something like the Ramayana is handed over to you, it comes with such weight, such responsibility, it genuinely becomes something bigger than you. The pressure and scale is something that only a few directors in this country are used to. And I think the two names are S.S. Rajamouli and Sanjay Leela Bansali. If I were to stick to Hindi films specifically, Bansali since the
Bansali.
late 90s.
Yeah,
Yeah, agree.
it's because you needed that grandioso. You needed
really
that
did.
virtuoso.
You needed this. Open the scene. Open the scene. You needed this luxury. Look.
That
You
I believe
needed
there is
this
absolutely no
grand.
one who matches up to his attention to detail in the frames. I would urge you
Yes.
again, see
at
the
that
trailer of
magic.
Padmavat. Just see it again and you would be blown away by what this man was capable of pulling off with
Correct.
1/20th of the budget. A trailer cut that only showcases
Hell
two
yeah.
dialogues, one in the start and one in the conclusion, and relies on editing its trailer to the musical
And everyone knows the ending of Padmavat. Like, it's not a secret.
Yeah.
Everyone knows how the story sort of goes. There were rumors and stuff, I guess, that added to the thing. But it's a popular story. It's a popular poem. So,
And if you wanted historical directors to take on that story,
he might have been a better director
yeah.
to do.
I wonder
And
why
honestly,
Nitesh Tiwari was approached.
weird choice. But
Yeah.
I think, honestly,
I forgot about that.
Sanjay Leela Bansali, if you would have had him as the director and also as a music composer there, with A.R. Rahman and Hans Zimmer, now you have an Indian super
Supers,
shit.
Yeah.
However, though, on the other hand, S.S. Rajmouli would have he could do the last chapter of Ramayan better than Sanjay, because it's supernatural. Sanjay doesn't do supernatural stuff.
No, but he does historical accuracy to the best.
Yeah, but he doesn't do gods.
Well, not accuracy, but grandeur.
Yeah, detail. But he doesn't do gods.
No, he does.
S.S. Rajmouli does God. You need a Bahubali scene
Yeah,
in there.
he
though.
does gods.
Yeah,
it's
so
true.
maybe it should have been a collaborative effort
I
between
don't know.
two.
Well, it's always really difficult to have more than one director.
It doesn't
in a
work.
Film. It doesn't
Score,
work.
implying, hinting at what the movie may focus on, but hyping the audience in the process because the scale and vision is conveyed with absolute ease. The Ramayan trailer exposes in chronological order its screenplay, and its abrupt pattern that shifts from characters to locations never is edited to its musical score. An art that a lot of people still have not employed in Hindi cinema, an art that is slept on, and its avoidance is the reason why the trailer holistically has a mid to good enough reaction versus
In trailers, that's fairly true, to be honest. In
Yeah,
movies, no, but in trailers, yes. In trailers,
is
India's
actually-
still a little weird.
Yeah, we're still yet to very little trailers sort of like hook me to the idea of like, oh, I'm intrigued. This is actually a really good story. I
Yeah.
want to.
There's
involve
attachment
more.
in the music scores.
Yeah.
being raved about across the board. I believe a lot of what the movie is experiencing is what the Odyssey experienced prior to its release. Criticism on the language, the casting choices, and the historically inaccurate costumes
Is it because it's in Hindi and not Sanskrit? Well, that's a bit fucking.
were the rage on social media months before its release.
I think, unfortunately, I really hope I'm wrong, but I think this will be also a mid experience.
Oh, I hope not. I'm really excited.
Still had faith in Nolan, who has an insane track record in delivering spectacles. There was still a belief that it will persevere, and it did. Can we have the same faith in Nitesh Tiwari? Only time will tell.
Oh, he liked the Odyssey. Interesting.
Kapoor's honest assessment. There are a lot of
had really
memes
great
and
moments.
jokes that are floating around
The intro scene, the first 20 minutes.
with
I think they
Ranbir
had really
Kapoor
good
as Ram.
moments.
The jokes that genuinely made me chuckle was Ranbir found a way to walk away from his house even in this film. How Ranbir in certain instances felt the urge or need to say "Main udna chahta hoon, main dodna chahta hoon," and how his proclamation to the world to kill Ravan straight up sounded like his speech from Animal to the loyal factory employees.
Wild.
Ranbir is one of my favorites. You all know there is no mystery around that. I am the unofficial PR machinery of this dude, but I think there are a few things that are clear to the naked eye. The man has moments of brilliance and earnestness in the silences, in the moments where he feels
agree.
overwhelmed and his eyes are full of tears. But there is a stiffness, a derivative of his previous performances that can be seen. One can't help but feel
that's
this
a good
about his presence on
point.
screen ever since he metamorphosized to become a young version of Sanjay Dutt. Viewers who watch films week in and week out can't shake off the image they already have of Ranbir in movies like Animal and Sanju.
That's true.
That's true.
very much
That's
true.
very.
That's
very
fair.
Correct.
That's
I
fair.
agree with
While
that.
the awkwardness in his dialogue, especially in a few moments from the trailer, was something everyone noticed, one can't help but struggle in seeing Lord Ram in Ranbir.
Yes.
Is he too old? Is his face too polished? Is he slightly blank in his expressions? There's something I am also personally struggling with. It also made me wonder, and tell me what you think about this. The phenomena of the same set of 4 to 6 actors working in big commercial movies in the West and in India often leads to a sense of lethargy on how much can actors really surprise you. This is something that Hollywood is dealing with right now with, Robert Pattinson, Ryan Gosling, Zendaya, Jacob Elordi. Essentially,
Pedro
Absolutely.
Pascal, up until the fucking shit broke the fan that he fucking sleeps with everyone or whatever the fuck his deal is.
Is it?
I don't know. Pedro Pascal basically got like wasn't the meme? Didn't it become a huge meme that is like he like sleeps with your wife or something? Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
But it's true.
Pedro
do.
Pascal was everywhere for like a hot minute.
Yeah,
and I'm
actually
glad
think-
that's over because he's a very mid-tier actor.
It's alright.
Exactly.
It's alright.
The fuck
but
you deserve to be in every movie, the hell?
it was the
Same as
bandwagon.
Tom Holland. Tom Holland's a good actor and he's got fucking acting chops and everything, but it's like, can we give him a break?
No, but like,
give him a
how
Spider-Man.
many times are we gonna play Spider-Man in the Odyssey?
Yeah, dude. It's Spider-Man in The Odyssey. Oh, it's Spider-Man in Uncharted. Oh, it's Peter Parker
yeah.
playing Tom Little or whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
I actually think that is a very common conversation that we have closed doors. That it's very difficult to see the character and not the actor in a lot of moments because obviously their popularity skyrockets, and then that means that more projects get given to them in a very small window of time. So
Also,
the
so much
last
more
thing-
content that you see them off of their characters. So it's also
Correct.
weird, yeah.
So it's actually so you see them as actors and not as the characters, and that loses you in the atmospheric experience of the
Actually
film.
being a part of every major project, leading to the same set of actors you get to see every other month or so when you step into theaters. I mean, how many times am I going to see the Indian Henry Cavill in theaters? Leave aside movies, he doesn't even leave my favorite reality TV shows. I digress. I think it's easier said than done that this epic should have been made with a newer face. No one is willing to take that risk with the kind of investment and
Yeah,
scale this film
no
is.
one would.
Nobody was gonna do that.
No one would.
And that was also my criticism of the Odyssey. I wanted to see unfamiliar faces. I wanted to see a Greek cast.
Counted at, but I
Can't feel
also
that.
feel a new
Like, why the fuck, man? Why is Zendaya everywhere?
But because the investment is so high and the time schedule is so short, the directors and the investors and producers need to know who works under what circumstances.
Also-
they do not have space for experimentation.
Also, they know like Zendaya have like 50 million followers. Tom
Correct.
Holland fucking 40 million.
And every time they drop a film, regardless of the genre,
It's gonna do numbers.
hotcakes.
pace leads to this clean or fresh slate for an actor. It already curtails immediate judgment or ridicule when you first see them because there is nothing to compare it to. Like you always know Ryan Gosling isms of just, casualness, of banter, always somehow finding a way to creep in his roles. Similarly, Ranbir also has these yearning expressions we are used to watching in his coming of age tales. It becomes distracting for a Hindi cinema fan well versed with his filmography. Will I still root and hope to be surprised?
Yes.
Like it's happened in
He's
many
capable.
instances with Ranbir roles? Yes.
Yes.
Is it naive of me? Probably. I just
No,
want
I
this
think
to be
it's
such a
valid.
home
He's
run.
capable. He's
It's
capable.
valid.
Telling me that there are obvious demerits that just need to be mentioned than the obvious glazing we will otherwise see on social media pages. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what are your
We'll link
top
you all the
3
the
things
video.
that you feel
Thank you,
really
Jabby.
curtailed this trailer
He's on point.
to
He
be a
is
home
so
run.
spot
Please
on.
don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handles are right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please
He
support
also
us
has
by
great
smashing the like
shorts.
button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead.
Hell
Thank you
yeah.
for watching.
Subscribe.
He's you're not subscribed to him? We're subscribed to him on our personal ones, but not.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so brilliant video, obviously. He's
Fantastic.
very much on point with basically what we think also. But I think Ranbir can surprise everyone.
I'm still very excited for this release, though.